Hello and welcome. Today we are going on a really fascinating journey, but we're not going to some distant land. We're going to a place you are in every single second of your life, the control room of your own mind. So let's get ready and explore what's really going on in there.
I mean, have you ever really stopped to think about it? When you're solving a puzzle or you're making a really tough choice, or even just feeling a wave of emotion, what gears and levers are actually turning inside your head? What's the system behind all of it? So to figure this out, we're going to frame our whole exploration around this one big idea, a high-tech command center. You know, a place with different departments, specialized tools, and of course, a captain in charge, all working together to help you navigate the world. Let's start the tour. Okay, our first stop is the department that handles all things rational and analytical. This is where your mind builds its blueprints, follows the instructions, and just systematically tackles problems. You can think of it as the engineering floor of your entire mental operation.
Now, the number one tool they use down here is something called deductive reasoning, and you can think of it like mental mathematics. If your starting points, what we call premises, are true, then the conclusion you reach is guaranteed to be true. There's no guesswork involved, it's just pure, solid logic.
Let's see how this actually works with a super classic example. Okay, so we start with a general rule. All humans are mortal. Fact. Then we add a specific case that fits right into that rule. Socrates is human. So what's the conclusion? It is an absolute, undeniable certainty that Socrates is mortal. This is the very bedrock of science, of math, of any structured argument you can think of.
All right, now let's look at another huge tool in this department, problem solving. And this isn't just about crosswords or Sudoku. This is the structured approach your mind takes to overcome pretty much any obstacle, big or small.
You know, your control room doesn't just panic when it's faced with a challenge. No way. It follows a protocol. First, it identifies what the issue is. Then, it creates a mental model of it. Then, it brainstorms strategies. You know, like, should I use flashcards or write summaries for this exam? Then it picks one, tries it out, and finally, it checks to see if it actually worked. It's a really, really elegant and systematic process.
But, and this is a big but, here's a crucial reality check from the Nobel laureate Herbert Simon. Our control rooms, they're incredibly powerful, for sure, but they're also efficient. We don't have unlimited time or brain power to spend on every single thing. So most of the time, we're not searching for the absolute perfect solution. We find one that's good enough and just gets the job done. All right, we're leaving the logic department now and we're heading up to the corner office. This is the high-stakes center where the final calls get made. This is where all that information is weighed and our choices actually turn into actions. I mean, every single day you are making hundreds, if not thousands, of these choices. From something as small as what to have for lunch to a huge one, like which career path to follow. This whole process is right at the very heart of how you direct your life. And it's this incredibly complex blend of logic, emotion, and experience. So at the decision desk, you've got these two key advisors, a concept famously described by psychologist Daniel Kahneman. First, you've got System 1. That's your gut reaction. It's lightning fast, automatic, and often emotional. And then you have System 2. That's your conscious reasoning. It's slow, it takes real effort, and it's deliberate. The final decision you make, well, it often depends on which one of these advisors has the floor. But, you know, just like any complex operating system, the software in our control room can have some bugs. Now, these aren't failures, not at all. They're what we call cognitive biases. Basically, systematic glitches in our thinking that can lead us down the wrong path, especially when we rely a little too heavily on that fast, intuitive advisor. So, let's look at a few of these common glitches. Confirmation bias. That's our tendency to favor information that confirms what we already believe. The availability heuristic? That's what makes us overestimate the importance of information that just pops into our head easily. And the anchoring effect? That means we rely way too much on the very first piece of information we get. Just knowing about these glitches is the first step to debugging our own decisions. So we've seen how we think and how we decide, but what about how we feel? Our next stop is the part of the control room that's constantly monitoring and managing our entire emotional climate.
Now, this concept is an absolute game changer. Events themselves don't come with emotions built into them. Not at all. Our emotions are generated by our appraisal, which is our interpretation of what an event means to us. It's the control room's analysis that assigns emotional value to all the incoming data. Just look at the power of appraisal right here in action. The event is identical for both students, a bad grade. But student A appraises it as a reflection of their identity, I'm stupid, and that leads to sadness. Student B appraises it as a reflection of their strategy, I lacked study time, and that leads to motivation. The event didn't change one bit, the interpretation did.
So if appraisal is what creates the emotion, what's next? Well, that's emotion regulation. This is the control panel. This is what allows us to turn the dial on our feelings, to amplify them, to reduce them, or just to maintain them, all in order to meet our goals. And we have two main ways of doing this. Antecedent-focused strategies are proactive. We change our thinking before the emotion fully forms, like reappraising a stressful presentation not as a threat, but as a chance to share your expertise. Then you have response-focused strategies, which are reactive. We manage the emotion after it's already arrived, like taking a deep breath to calm down once you already feel nervous.
We've seen the logic department, the decision desk, and the emotional thermostat. Now, for our final stop, we're heading to the very center of it all, the place where this entire operation is overseen.
Welcome to the captain's chair. Consciousness is the ultimate supervisor here. It's that awareness of being aware. It's the part of you that knows you're thinking, knows you're feeling, and knows you're experiencing the world. It's what integrates all the other functions we've just toured. And the captain uses a dashboard with a few key instruments. You've got self-awareness, that's the basic knowledge that I exist. You've got attention, which is the ability to focus the spotlight of that awareness. And then you have metacognition, and this one is like a superpower. It's the ability to think about your own thinking. And this is the captain in full command. This isn't just about being nervous. This is about knowing you're nervous, understanding why you're nervous, and then having the ability to choose a strategy to manage it. This is self-awareness and voluntary control in action. It's incredibly powerful. So, our tour is complete. You've seen the tools for logic, the advisors for your decisions, the thermostat for your emotions, and you've met the captain who's overseeing it all. But the most crucial point here is that this isn't just some theoretical tour. This is your control room. So the real question is, now that you know a little more about how it all works, what will you do differently?